and zip code. And then you sign on the bottom if you're against. Name, address, and zip code. You can use the address of where you want notices sent. What?
No, they did that over there.
And again, thank you to those who fill out those appearance forms because we really do appreciate it. The court reporter appreciates it. Everybody appreciates it. Hi, I saw you on the elevator.
Yes, we were.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Where do you?
Yes, which one are you here for?
Yes.
What I'm gonna do, they told me, they gave me a lot of rules, because I'm supposed to be like. Oh, no, they won't allow that. Right. You didn't either, we had to take our pick. Okay, all new people?
Have the witnesses sign in for the 31 North Lincoln come back?
Yes, I can. Zachary Brown. Zachary Brown, Edford's Hut, Zachary Brown, Edford's Hut. Okay, you know what I think? They signed it in the morning, and I told them it was in the afternoon. So I, I'll be
No,
back.
they contacted me and we had a
Yeah.
really robust community.
And it's been like 2 years,
meetings on
2
this.
years, like 10 years.
Right. So when he signed in, he had signed in that form, and I put it out. I said, no, you're in the afternoon.
Okay. All right.
Remember
Well,
the
we'll
announcement you
figure
made
it
this
out.
morning about backpacks?
That was Victor. Okay.
Okay, make it again.
Okay, I'll get Victor to make that again. Thank you. Need help with that?
Need a pack mule?
Ah! Okay, thank you, everybody, for filling out the appearance forms. Look for the address. If you are for the matter, sign up top. If you are against the matter, sign on the bottom. Make sure you sign the right appearance form. Hey, again, all newcomers, make sure you sign the appearance forms. I understand now for all of those who are regular appearances at ZBA, they will no longer allow backpacks, large bags, carry-ons, anymore into city council chambers, just the basic purse or briefcase, but no oversized bags. Okay, hi, all new people, just sign the appearance forms. Find the address of the matter you're here for, up top, signs it for, on the bottom against. These appearance forms are used not only by the board members, but the court transcriber as well as us for when we mail out the resolutions. Commissioner? Again, everybody fill in the appearance orders. We'll be starting shortly. Victor, start with an announcement about the
To everybody here in chambers, just for future reference, on our website, there are new rules posted for entering this chamber about bringing large bags and backpacks. So please, for the future, just check the website before you come to a ZBA hearing to make sure that you're complying with all the rules for city council chambers.
You're looking for Nancy? Nancy, oh, there. Let's see if these people are in here on LinkedIn. Oh, they did? Okay, that's fine. Which matter are you here for, sir? Which is the address? Oh, there, okay, you're all good. Okay, all right. So all you have to do is sign this. And then just sign up top if you're for, sign on the bottom if you're against. Okay, if you could ask her to return it to the table then? Okay, thank you, sir. You signed it? Right? Yeah, I know.
Okay, I move that we reconvene this meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals. Commissioner Toya seconds. Commissioner Brooks,
Yes.
Commissioner McDonald, Commissioner Toya.
Yes.
I vote yes, and we're back. And we are starting with continuances and withdrawals. Counselor?
Thank you. Chairman Nick Fatikas, for the record, also with me is my managing partner, Jim Banks. We are here on the last case of the call, page 11. The actual call number is 20923S for 620 North Fairbanks. Chairman, a little bit of background. The case has been filed for over a year. It was actually continued several times before today's hearing. We received a letter from the department challenging or concluding that a school was within the 500-foot distance. We're now challenging that determination. We received the letter from the city on the 12th, so just 3 days ago. We've already filed an appeal of that matter. The intent was obviously to challenge that determination, but also to maintain status quo on the pending special use. So really what we're asking for is a quicker hearing on the appeal issue. If there's a spot in April, again, that application has already been filed. And then if we're successful, to be able to present the special use after that, whether it's in April or whether it's in May. I know we discussed that with staff. So whatever your determination is on that. I just wanted to give a little bit of background as to why another continuance is being
Right.
sought.
So the plan is to try to get the appeal on in April.
Correct.
Okay. All right, so this calendar number 20923S. So calendar number 20923S will be continued to May 17, 2024, the 2 p.m. call, and no further notice will be given.
Thank you. Hold on one second.
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
Yeah.
Counselor.
Tim Martin, for the record, with the law office of Thomas R. Rains. I'm here with regard to cases 395-23S and 396-23Z on page 10. This is for Chicagoland Materials LLC. This is a case that involves the air quality ordinance. We had previously submitted a report to the Department of Health. We got comments back. We have just given them responses to those comments, so we're going to need a little more time to get that resolved. So I'm asking for a 2-month continuance.
Okay. All right, so calendar numbers 395-23S and 396-23Z will be continued to May 17, 2024, the 2 p.m. call, and no further notice will be given. Any other continuances or withdrawals? Seeing none, Victor, go ahead and call the first case.
First case, 11124, 136 West.
Okay, would everyone planning to testify, please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings? Thank you very much. Counselor, you can go with the short form, but do give us a little bit on the hardship here.
Sure. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Paul Kolpak. With, to my right is the applicant, Mr. Chimenya. To his right is our architect, Peter Sterniak. Property in question is a vacant piece of property zoned RT4, which measures 2,976 square feet. So it's a substandard lot pursuant to the definition. We're 24 feet short of the third unit that we're requesting today, and that's what we're here for. We have met with the neighbors on both sides. My client is working, doing a lot of development in that ward, and everybody's happy to be with them.
So the neighbors have no objection?
Would you please state your name for the record?
My name is Andre Jimenez.
And you've met with the neighbors in the area,
Yes.
and they're all, you showed them the plans and they're all in favor of this. Is that correct?
Correct.
No further questions.
Okay.
Peter, would you please state your name?
Peter Sterniak.
Mr. Cerniak, you're a licensed architect. You've testified in front of this board before. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you prepared, we prepared an affidavit and you signed it. We submitted it to the board. And if you were asked to continue to testify, you testified in substantial compliance? Is that
Yes.
correct? No further questions.
Any questions from the board? We'll take this matter under advisement.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I have a note. Okay, okay. All right, would everyone who's planning to testify, please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings? Thank you very much. I'll go ahead and read the department's recommendation for calendar number 12724S. The Department of Planning and Development recommends approval to establish residential use below the second floor to convert existing commercial space on the first 3 floors of an existing 30-story mixed-use building to residential space to create 68 new units, of which 63 will be efficiency units, with 0 new additional vehicular parking spaces and 70 new additional bicycle parking spaces, provided the development is consistent with the design and layout of the site plan and basement plan dated March 12, 2024, the first floor plan, second floor plan, and third floor plan dated March 9, 2024, and the elevations dated March 1, 2024, all prepared by Osterhaus McCarthy LLC. And the fifth floor roof electrical plan south, lighting fixture schedule, and the fifth floor plan south dated November 28, 2018, and the fifth floor key plan, sixth floor plan terraces, 28th floor plan, 30th floor plan, and 31st floor plan, lower roof plan, all dated June 28, 2019, all prepared by Hartshorn Plunkard Architecture. That was a mouthful. Counselor, you can proceed with the short form.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. My name for the record is Katie Jinky Dale from the law firm of DLA Piper, and along with my colleague Peter Nicastro, we represent the applicant in this matter, 739 South Clark Holdings LLC. I'm joined today by John McCarthy directly to my right from Osterhaus McCarthy LLC, the project architect, Sarah Bedford to his right, representative of the applicant, and George Kissel, the land planner from Okrent Kissel Associates.
And for the record, the board recognizes Mr. Kissel's expertise.
Thank you. As you read, the applicant proposes to replace existing vacant commercial space with 68 residential apartments, bringing the total number of residential units on the property to 417. Of those 68 units, 14 will be affordable, of which at least 7 will be provided on site. The applicant seeks approval of a special use authorizing ground floor residential uses at the property. In addition, we need variations to permit a reduction in the otherwise applicable minimum lot area and alternative compliance with the open space requirements. The property is currently improved with a 30-story commercial and residential building and was recently rezoned DX16 Downtown Mixed Use District in connection with this redevelopment. I'll now briefly summarize the requested relief. The applicant delivered the residential building in March 2020 and is an affiliate of CMK Companies, which is an established provider of residential real estate throughout Chicago. Despite efforts to lease the commercial space in question, they've, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, been unsuccessful in doing so and would like to reactivate that space with residential. Because this space was built to be commercial, we do need the variations. We do have almost 20,000 square feet of open space throughout the property, but given its location and the repurposing, it doesn't meet the technical requirements of the zoning ordinance. And similarly, to make the units efficient and marketable, we need relief from MLA to achieve the unit mix and count. And then finally, obviously, it's on the residential on the ground floor, which requires a special use in this district. I'll now turn to my first witness, Sarah Bedford. Can you please state your name, address, and title for the record?
Sarah Bedford, I'm Vice President of CMK Companies.
If you could use the microphone there.
Excuse me. My name is Sarah Bedford. I'm Vice President of CMK Companies, 739 South Clark Street in Chicago.
Ms. Bedford, DLA Piper, as your counsel, submitted proposed findings of fact in an affidavit signed by you in connection with this matter, correct?
Yes.
And if you were to testify further today, would your testimony be consistent with those proposed findings of fact and affidavit?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I'll now turn to my next witness. Mr. McCarthy, can you please state your name and title and business address for the record?
John M. McCarthy with Osterhaus McCarthy LLC, 53 West Jackson Boulevard, Suite 1356, Chicago 60604.
So mouthful. You're the project architect for this proposed development, correct?
Yes,
And you're a licensed architect in the state of Illinois.
yes,
And DLA Piper, as applicant's counsel, submitted to the board proposed findings of fact in an affidavit signed by you in connection with this matter, correct?
yes,
And if you were to testify further today, would your testimony be consistent with those findings of fact and affidavit?
yes.
Great, thank you. And I'll now turn to our final witness. George, can you please state your name and address for the
Sure.
record?
My name's George Kissel, President of Okrent Kissel Associates, offices at 141 West Jackson.
And you were retained by the applicant to conduct an urban planning analysis for this, these special uses and variations, correct?
That's correct.
And you prepared a report detailing your analysis, correct?
That's correct.
And Mr. Kissel, if you were to continue to testify, would your testimony be consistent with the findings and conclusion of that report?
Yes, it would.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Kissel. Unless there are any questions, or we are available for any questions, but thank you.
Okay, let's go to Alderman Robinson. Did you want to speak on this matter?
Thank you for the opportunity. Also, I want to thank the group that is with us today. It has been very difficult for us to bring back folks downtown, particularly folks that need assistance around affordable housing. And so I want to thank this group for taking the part of their building that they were going to utilize for commercial purposes and turn it into housing efficiencies that are going to be affordable. So this is a project that I'm here today to support, and I want to thank you again for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Alderman. Are there any questions from the board? We'll take this matter under advisement. Thank you.
Next case, 11224Z, 4333 South Fairfield.
Okay, would everyone planning to testify, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings? Thank you. Counselor, you can proceed with the short form.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Paul Kopak. To my right is the applicant, Mr. Jairo Ramirez, and to his right is the architect, Mr. Ramon Contreras. We're here today for an application for a variation to reduce the front setback from 15.52 feet to 11.5, north side setback from 2 feet to 0.84 feet, south to be 4.04 feet, combined side setback from 5 to 4.88. For an build open second floor front porch, 3-story rear addition, and a 3rd floor dormer addition to the south elevation for the existing 3-story, 2-dwelling unit building with an as-built accessory detached garage being altered. The hardship here is when we bought the property that existed, we went in for our permits. They then cited us for variations for the existing building. We're here today to put that into compliance.
Right, and I noted in the file that you've got the support letters from the neighbors on both sides, correct?
We do.
Go ahead.
Would you please state your name?
My name is Jairo Ramirez.
Mr. Ramirez, Chairman mentioned you went to all your neighbors that are in support of this, is that correct?
Correct.
And I had an affidavit that you signed, and if you were asked to testify further, you testified in substantial compliance, is that correct?
Correct.
No further questions? Mr. Contreras, please state your name,
Ramon Contreras.
and you're a licensed architect in the state of Illinois, is that correct?
That is correct.
And you've appeared in front of this board before, is that correct?
Correct.
You visited the site, you applied for the permits, and you got the denial, and the purpose of this is to put this into compliance, is that correct?
That is correct.
And we prepared an affidavit, which you signed, and we submitted to the board. And if you're asked to testify further, we testified substantial conformity to that affidavit, is that correct?
That is correct.
Further questions?
Any questions from the board? We'll take this matter under advisement.
Thank you very much for your
Thank you.
time.
Okay, would everyone planning to testify, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings? Thank you very much. I'll go ahead and read the department's recommendation for calendar number 11324S. The Department of Planning and Development recommends approval of the proposed single-lane drive-through for a proposed fast food restaurant, Pollo Campero, provided the special use is issued solely to the applicant, Pollo Campero of Illinois LLC, and the development is consistent with the design and layout of the plans and drawings dated March 15, 2024, prepared by WT Group. Counselor, you can proceed with the short form.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, members of the board. For the record, my name is Janet Stengel of the law firm of Daspin and Allman LLP with offices at 300 South Wacker, Suite 2200 in Chicago. I'm here today representing the applicant, Pollo Campero of Illinois LLC. Pollo Campero seeks approval of a special use permit to allow a proposed single-lane drive-through facility for a quick service restaurant at 4311 South Pulaski. First, I'd ask the chair to accept the formal application package previously submitted to be accepted into the record. A quick overview of the project. Pollo Campero is a quick service restaurant chain serving Guatemalan fried chicken and related items. Pollo Campero is growing in the Chicago area and intends to develop an existing outlot of a shopping center located at the corner of 43rd and Pulaski. The existing property is a parking lot area, and now the development will include a single-story, 2,598 square foot restaurant with the single lane drive-through. Pollo Campero will lease the property from the shopping center property owner. And this proposed project is located in a C23 motor vehicle related commercial district. The building will be attractively designed and the site will be fully landscaped in compliance with the Chicago Landscape Ordinance. With the development, there will be 9 new parking spaces included. Mr. Chairman, we have 3 witnesses with us today. At this time, I would like to call my first witness.
Please.
My first witness is Ms. Laura Bodorf. Ms. Bodorf, would you please state your name, address, and your business or profession for the record?
Yes, it's Laura Bodor, Assistant Development Manager with Pollo Campero. The address is 12404 Park Central, Suite 250 North, Dallas, Texas, 75251.
Thank you. Ms. Bodorf, you previously submitted an affidavit in connection with this matter that has been submitted into the record. Is that correct?
Yes,
And if you were to continue to testify today, would your testimony be consistent with the findings in that affidavit?
yes.
Thank you. My next witness is Mr. Chris Kaliszewski. Mr. Kaliszewski, will you please state your name, address, and your profession for the record?
Name is Chris Kaliszewski, WT Group, Architects Engineer, 2675 Freedom Avenue, Hoffman Estates, Illinois.
Thank you. Mr. Kaliszewski, you were retained by the applicant to prepare plans for the proposed project and drive-through, correct?
Yes,
And have those plans been prepared and submitted into the record today?
yes,
Is it also correct that you previously submitted an affidavit in connection with this matter that has been submitted into the record?
yes,
And if you were to continue to testify today, would your testimony be consistent with your findings in the affidavit?
it would, yes.
Thank you. My last witness is Mr. Jason Jarrett. Mr. Jarrett, would you please state your name, address, and profession for the record?
Yes, my name is Jason Jarrett. I'm a certified planner with Okrent Kissel Associates
Go ahead.
here in Chicago, address of 141 West Jackson.
For the record, the board recognizes Mr. Jarrett's expertise.
Thank you. Mr. Jarrett, have you prepared a report detailing your analysis, findings, and conclusions related to this project? And has that report been submitted into the record?
Yes, I did, and it is.
You also previously submitted an affidavit in connection with this matter that has been introduced into the record, correct?
Yes,
And if you were to continue to testify today, would your testimony be consistent with the facts contained in that affidavit?
it would.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, this project is located in the 14th Ward, and Pollo Campero held a community meeting on December 11th, 2023, with great support from the community. And at this time, I'd also like to submit into the record a letter of support from the Alderwoman.
Sure.
Thank you. We are happy to answer any questions that the board may have.
Any questions from the board? I have one question for the architect. Is it a complete coincidence that your bow tie and your pen are both green?
It's a planned endeavor. Thank you.
Okay. And I do see the letter from the Alderwoman. in support. Okay, any questions from the board? We'll take this under advisement. Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you.
Next case, 11424 Z, 3310 North Lincoln.
All right. Okay. All right, would everyone planning to testify, please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings? Thank you. Counselor Barnes, you can proceed with the short form.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and honorable members of the board. For the record, my name is Sarah Barnes, and I'm an attorney with the law offices of Gozdecki, Delgice, Ricardo, and Americas LLP. I'm happy to be here this afternoon on behalf of the applicant 3312 Lincoln LLC. Here with me is one of the managing members and owners of that LLC, John Mangan, who is also a local business owner in this particular neighborhood. We also have our project architect, Jonathan Spit, who similarly is a longtime local business owner in this particular community. And we also have, surprisingly but pleasantly joining us, one of the residents of the neighborhood who just came to offer his sentiments towards the project. With that, I am here today, or we are here today, seeking a single variation for a reduction in the required rear yard setback for the residential uses attributed to this building from 30 feet to just over 7 feet. And that's in order to permit the construction and occupancy of a new 6-story mixed-use building at the subject property, which, as I'm sure you all gleaned from the findings of fact on the survey, is a incredibly irregular shaped lot and also a very substantially substandard depth lot. I've been doing this for a while and I've never seen a lot quite this unique. And if this honorable board does approve the variation today, and we proceed with the project, the new building will contain, again, 6 floors with commercial space and interior parking for 7 vehicles on the ground floor, and a total of 24 dwelling units. And between the 2nd through 6th floors, 5 of which of those units will actually be provided and rented through the city's affordable housing program. As a matter of quick procedural background and information, we began this journey back in 2022. We started with the then current Alderman Martin in the 47th Ward. We had a very, very robust community review process for about 9 months where we collaborated with the various community organizations, which include the 47th Ward Zoning Advisory Council, the Lakeview Roscoe Village Chamber of Commerce, as well as the West Lakeview Neighbors Association. And 2, we also met and maintained ongoing communications with the adjacent homeowners association. There's a condo building right next to ours. And I'm very pleased to say that after that 9 months of collaboration, we came up with this program that you have before you here today with the unanimous support of all those interested parties. Subsequent thereto, the property did move into the 32nd ward with the map redistricting. And we have also maintained a regular communications, still with Alderman Martin, but with the new Alderman Wagasback. With that, if there's no questions for me, I will go ahead and put on the quick witness short form.
Just one question. What's Alderman Wagasback's position on this?
He's supportive. Yeah, he actually was privy to the community process as well.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Mangan, if you could once more state your name and address for the record.
John Mangan, 1607 West Waveland, Chicago, 60613.
Thank you. And Mr. Mangan, you own the subject property, is that right?
That's correct.
And you and your brother were very actively involved in the community review process and collaboration for the year preceding this hearing, is that correct?
Yes.
And as well, you've done several other similar developments throughout the 47th and 32nd wards, is that right?
Yes, we have.
And you have your own offices in the 47th ward in this particular community, is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you. And you've been owning and managing as well as developing these types of mixed-use properties for many years now in Chicago, is that correct?
Yes.
And if, again, this honorable board grants the variation and the project is completed, you intend to hold on to this property and manage the residential aspect as well as rent out the commercial space, is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you. And with that, Mr. Mangan, you have invested or budgeted a little over $7 million towards this project, is that right?
Correct.
And again, given the very unique situs conditions for this property, is it also true that if this is kind of the only programming that could work for this site, is that right?
Yes.
And also that has, again, the support of all the respective community liaisons.
Yes.
Thank you. So if this variation is denied, you will be unable to permit the project, is that correct?
That's correct.
Which would send you back to the drawing board for which there's really no alternatives, is that right?
Yes.
So you would suffer a pretty significant loss.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Mangan, prior to the proceedings, you were provided with an affidavit as well as a copy of the findings of fact. If you were to continue to testify here this afternoon, would your testimony be consistent with the statements made in those documents?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Split, may you please state your name and address for the record once more?
Jonathan Split, 4001 North Ravenswood Avenue, Chicago, Illinois.
Thank you. And again, Mr. Split, you as well have your primary offices in this neighborhood, is that right?
That's correct.
And you as well were very actively involved in the community review process for this project, is that correct?
Yes, I was.
As well as the actual design and programming for the proposal.
Correct.
Thank you. And as kind of already stated and is very thoroughly stated in the findings of fact, this is just an incredibly unique site. Is that true from a topographic standpoint?
Very unique. We're next to a large building from the 1920s that was converted to residential, I believe with no permits in the 70s. So they cut a lot of strange windows and that's lot line to lot line. This property is only 82 feet deep, as well as it's a dog leg shape. So it has multiple angles. And the north side, to make things more interesting, has a easement for a neighbor, which they no longer use, but it used to be for an old fire exit. So we had to stretch the building in depth, and this slide shows the best example. We met with the condo board many times, and we offered to accommodate all of their windows by pulling our building back. So we worked it out with two large setbacks of 12 feet and I think 16 feet. And we were able to do that by lengthening our building. Right now, it's just a vacant carpet store, and we have no residential neighbors on the other side. Behind us, Mr. Mangan also owns that lot. It's a single lot, which now is a parking lot. So by lengthening the buildings, we don't affect any other neighbors, and we thought this probably was one of the few solutions that would work.
Thank you. And that conscientious design also allowed us to mitigate the density, keep the density relatively moderate for this transit serve location, and also mitigate the height of the building. Is that right?
Right, we only have 24 units. We have 1, 3, and then 19 pretty large 2 bedrooms, and a few small studios at the front that where the elevator core is. So mostly large units, which is really at the neighbor's request.
Thank you. And you and your design team have been working with the Department of Housing along with Mr. Mangan in also providing the layouts for the 5 affordable units. Is that correct?
That's correct. We've been back and forth with housing. They seem pretty pleased, and we've worked out which units and on which locations as well.
And through this proposal, you'll be providing a very unique type of affordable housing for this particular neighborhood. Is that right?
Yes, they're much larger units than they typically get.
Thank you. And lastly, you just kind of explained the topographical conditions that were a bit challenging to work with. Would you say that those were your primary practical hardships when designing a program for this property?
Yes, I would.
And without this single variation, it's impossible to overcome those hardships. Is that true?
That's correct.
Thank you. Mr. Split, similar to Mr. Mangan, prior to the proceedings, you were provided with an affidavit as well as the corresponding findings of fact. If you were to continue to testify here today, would your testimony be consistent with the statements that were made in those documents?
Yes, it would.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I have no further questions for the members of the applicant's team, but we'd be happy to answer any.
Okay, and then I see you've got a supporter here.
We do. And I think Mr. Blakemore joined us as well. I don't know if he is support or opposition. Okay, so we have a balance of interest.
Well, sir, if you could state your name and address, please.
Zach Brown, and my address is 1732 West Henderson Street.
And could you tell us why you're here in support?
Yeah, so my wife and I support this development. Our house is right by it. We're about 2 blocks away. And we just bought our house last year. We're first-time homeowners. We're really excited. We bought the house, then we got a puppy. Then my mother-in-law moved in the basement. It's been great. I haven't cooked a meal for myself in 6 months. Probably gained a little weight, but that's not the point. The point is, you know, until I moved to Lakeview, I didn't realize walking up and down Lincoln Avenue is actually a bit depressing. There's a lot of empty storefronts. There's a lot of small businesses that I would say are clearly struggling. And so one of the reasons we support this development is it seems like it could be a good kind of boost to the a local and micro economy that I think the area needs. Maybe some more customers, some more foot traffic. I just, you know, would prefer to live in a livelier, busier, more bustling neighborhood. That's one of the reasons we wanted to buy in the city as opposed to kind of moving out into the suburbs. So I think this development looks great, and just want to say, I mean, my motivation for showing up here today, I suppose, is I'm sure you hear all the time from people who say, you know, not in my backyard or opposed to these types of developments. So I just wanted to.
And your position is in my backyard.
Exactly, yes. So I just want to let the council know that there are at least some homeowners in the immediate vicinity who are supportive.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any questions from the board for the applicant?
I just wanted to make sure I was understanding. Your property is only on 3310, right? You're not, the 3312 is the one that you said is you've made accommodations for, right?
3312 actually is the common address for our site. When the denial was issued, it was issued to 3310, but our common address will include 3312. So the building just north of us that's non-conforming is 3314, I believe. 16.
Okay, yeah, I've seen some different numbers.
Yeah, no, you're totally correct. I'm not quite sure how the denials get written, but yes. PIN number is.
Surveys were 3312, but the house number certificate from the city came back as 10.
Okay.
So there was a little back and forth.
Yeah, that's how it. Thank you, though. Good question.
Okay, and we have a couple of objectors. Do we have 2 objectors or just one? Just one. All right, could you, sir, can you state your name and address and just speak into the microphone?
Thank you. My name is George Blakemore, and
Your address?
804 Broadway. Thank you.
All right, we'll give you, we're gonna put 3 minutes on the clock to
pardon
voice
me.
your objection.
Pardon me, sir. 3-minute rules I will try to go by those rules. However, I wasn't aware of the 3-minute rule, and at this time, I'm challenging you to present those rules to me before I leave. Anyway, let me get to the point. I'm down here objecting and want to question the developer. When did you find out that that would be a problem, that setback? You're coming to this body, these people being paid. They own a job, they have a responsibility. When did you find out? And when you found out, did you change your mind, or did you make a statement to yourself that I can get around this and go to the zoning board of appeal and a possibility of pay to play? But my question directly to you, at what stage when you bought this property that you know it wasn't conforming to the zoning code? But what's going on down here, and it must stop. These developers, knowing that buying property, that they're knowing that it's not zoned and things can't be built, but they abuse the system, go to the altar, get a letter. And some communities need, number one, I want to know, when did you have outreach to the community? How many of those people showed up, and what was the vote? We're getting up now for an election. What was the vote? How many was for it, and how many was against it? I have been coming here for years, and I know these people up here are appointed, they have jobs, it's about money. And we see these developers time after time getting properties that know that it's a zoning and they have, it can't be built. But they go to their clients and tell them, pay to play, and then this body go along with this. This is why it's very important for a person like Mr. Blakemore. At what stage, when you purchased that property, that you knew it didn't conform to the law? That's my question to the developer. At what stage, I'm repeating myself, I'm repeating myself because I'm educating my people that I'm inviting here. Now,
Okay.
and you show
Time
me,
is up. Time is up. So as the chairman, I have the authority to decide what is relevant and what is not. I find your arguments to be irrelevant. And there's no right of cross-examination for someone who lives outside the notice zone for this variation. So, are there any questions from the board? We'll take this matter under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next case, 11524S, 1309 West Chicago Avenue.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and read the department's recommendation for calendar number 11524S. The Department of Planning and Development recommends approval of the proposed hair and nail salon suites. Would all those planning to testify, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings? Thank you. Counselor, you can proceed with the short form.
Thank you. Good afternoon once more, Mr. Chairman and esteemed members of the board. For the record again, My name is Sarah Barnes, and I'm a partner with the law offices of Gozdecki, Delgice, Brocado, and Americus LLP. I'm happy to be here this afternoon on behalf of the applicant and the property owner, the applicant Room Incorporated. Here with me is the managing member and sole owner of both the applicant and property owner, Alexandra Dubovich, who I'm proud to say is a fully woman-owned business enterprise.
Counselor, if you could just have your witnesses swear to their
Yeah.
affidavits and reports.
Oh, I love it. Okay.
Thank you.
And then we have Joe Ryan here with us.
And the board
our
recognizes Mr.
amazing
Ryan's
certified
expertise.
appraiser. Okay. So proposal is special use for salon suites. I do want to clarify this for the record though, Mr. Chairman, because the Department of Planning and Development asked me to. The services that will be provided if this board approves the special use within the salon suites are only hair services and nail services. There will not be any microblading or massage.
Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Dubovich, again, prior to the proceedings, you were provided with an affidavit as well as a copy of the findings of facts setting forth the standards for this special use. If you were to continue to testify or to testify at all today, would your testimony be consistent with those statements made in those documents?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Ryan, again, the board already recognized you. You were retained by the applicant to address the standards for a special use for these salon suites. You prepared a report that contains your findings and opinions. Is that correct?
Yes,
And that was tendered to the board prior to this hearing?
correct.
And was it your conclusion that the proposed salon suites at this location and pursuant to the plan of operation do in fact meet all of the standards and requirements for a special use under the current zoning ordinance?
They do.
Thank you. And if you were to continue to testify here today, would your testimony be consistent with your findings from your report?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any questions from the board? We'll take this matter under advisement. Thank you.
you.
West Portland. Going back to case 11624, 5900 West Irving Park Road, sorry.
Okay. Okay. I'll go ahead and read the department's recommendation for calendar number 11624S. The Department of Planning and Development recommends approval of the proposed adult use cannabis dispensary with 24 on-site parking spaces, provided, 1, the special use is issued solely to the applicant, Eagle Dispensaries of Illinois LLC. 2, all on-site customer queuing occurs within the building. 3, the development is consistent with the design and layout of the plans and drawings dated March 14, 2024, all prepared by Architecture and Engineering Solutions LLC. Counselor, you can proceed with the short form.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon. My name is Katrina McGuire from Thompson Coburn. It is my pleasure to be here this afternoon with my client, Marcus Farrell of Eagle Dispensaries of Illinois. With us today are Marty Flood, our project architect of Architecture and Engineering Solutions, Peter Poulos, our MAI real estate appraiser from BBG Real Estate Services, Steve Advance, urban planner from Chicago Cityscape, and Mr. Ed Farrell from Silver Star Security is here as our security consultant as well. As noted, this is a proposed dispensary to be located within an existing former bank structure. In conjunction with conversations with CDOT as well as DPD, the plans have been modified to modernize the parking lot. There's going to be significant landscaping and screening enhancements that are occurring as part of that. Those revised plans have been tendered, and we'd ask that they be part of the record.
They will be part of the record.
And I would also just like to note that we do also enjoy the support of the local chamber as well as Alderman Sposato.
Thank you.
And then I'll just proceed real quickly with the short form. To my right again, Mr. Farrell, if you could please state your full name and address for the record. You, I'm sorry.
There's two Farrells.
Applicant.
Marcus Farrell, 3227 Forest Hills Drive, Hatfield, Georgia. My grandmother is the owner of the business, the applicant. I am actually representing her, and
Okay. You're the manager of
I'm
the
manager of
LLC. Okay. And Mr. Farrell, in conjunction with this application, we prepared an affidavit for your review. Is that correct?
Yes,
And that affidavit was submitted as part of our proposed findings of fact. Is that correct?
yes,
If you were to further testify today, would your testimony be consistent with the affidavit that you submitted?
yes.
Thank you. Mr. Flood, if you could please state your full name and address for the record, please.
Martin Flood. I'm an architect and manager of Architecture and Engineering Solutions, 4020 North 20th Street, Suite 308, Phoenix, Arizona.
And you are a licensed architect in the state of Illinois. Is that correct?
Yes, I am.
And similar to Mr. Farrell, we prepared we prepared an affidavit in conjunction with this application for your review. Is that correct?
Yes,
And if you were to further testify today, would your testimony be consistent with that affidavit?
it would.
Thank you. And then actually we didn't prepare an affidavit for Mr. Farrell, so I'm going to move on to Mr. Vance. Mr. Vance, if you could state your full name and address for the record.
Stephen Vance, 800 South Wells Street, 939, 60607.
And you're an urban planner, is that correct?
That's correct.
And in conjunction with this application, you prepared a report, a land planning analysis of the surrounding area, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and that report was submitted as part of our application.
Yes.
And if you were to testify today, your testimony would be consistent with the information within your report, is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you. And our last witness, last but not least, Mr. Poulos, if you could state your full name and address for the record.
Peter Poulos, offices at 230 West Monroe, Chicago, Illinois, 60606.
And you're an MAI real estate appraiser, is that correct?
That's correct.
And in conjunction with this application, you prepared a report relative to the special use standards applicable to dispensaries, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And your report concluded that there would be no adverse impact and that we met the standards of the special use requirements for cannabis dispensary, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So if you were to further testify today, your testimony would be consistent with the findings in your report?
Yes, it would.
We have nothing further.
Okay, Mr. Blakemore, are you here in objection or support?
Here, object.
Okay, could you state your name and address for the record?
My name is George Blakemore. Thank you, sir.
And your address for the record?
804 Broadway.
Okay, let's
okay,
put 3
thank-
minutes on the clock and you
thank
may
you.
proceed.
All right, and before I proceed, before I leave this body, I want to get these rules, because I want to be a law-abiding citizen now, and I want to get these 3-minute rules for the zoning board of appeal. Now, we're not talking about the other government agencies. I've been coming here for years, and they've never, you don't have the 3-minute limit on them over there when they talk, but you're going, the opposing people, you're going to have a 3-minute limit. So you got to make each one of these people that get up and speak on an issue, you make it clear to them that it's 3 minutes. Because you made it very clear to me, and I'm over here objecting that you have a 3-minute limit. So this is something new. Equity and equality and justice. That's what we're going to have in our government bodies. So what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You never told them, and even when these other people was over here talking, but previous, when I was here earlier this morning, there was no 3-minute rule. I hope you're not targeting to Mr. Blakemore. I hope let's not go there. Let's not go there. Knowledge is power, and I'm very astute with government, city government. So again, I object for the same reasons that I have objected before. I'm happy, very happy to see our Black people get these marijuana contracts, because it's wonderful. Because I was traumatized, everybody else getting these contracts years ahead of Black people. However, I'm against these special rules and establishment. Black, white, green, or purple. continually coming to these bodies, knowing that these locations are not permitted to have certain business. But going along with this pay to play, I'm going to put my business here, and I'm going to the zoning board of appeal, and I'm going to change, have a special rule. I'm reading down here, special, SPECIAL. So don't treat me special. Treat me like you treat everyone else that come to this mic. I've been here even this morning. You did not have a time limitation. But all of a sudden, when I come to the mic, you have a time limitation. It's not about pros and cons when these other guys over here earlier this morning was against. So again.
Okay. Are there any questions from the board?
Let's go. Got the video.
We will take this matter under advisement. Thank you.
Bless you.
This is, okay, would everyone planning to testify, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings? Thank you very much. Counselor, you can proceed with the short form.
Mr. Chairman, you will know I did not raise my hand like last time at the hearing.
I noted that. Thank you very much. You're advocating, you're not testifying.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. My name is Jimena Castro. I'm a zoning attorney in Acosta Edgar. I'm here with you today with the applicant and the architect for the project located at 2126 West Cortland. To my right is Wayne Norman, who is the applicant and owner for the project. And then to his right is the architect for the project as well. I will ask them to state their name and address for the record, if that's okay with you.
Yes.
Wayne, can you please state your name and address for the record?
Wayne Norman, 2126 West Cortland Street, Chicago, Illinois.
And then Robert, if you can state.
Robert Murphy, 4864 West Berwyn.
Wonderful. Short form?
Yes.
Okay. The property is an RS3 zoned lot with a substandard dimension of 24 by 100. It's a single-family home with a detached two-car garage and a rear deck. The hardship in this case is the substandard lot size and the existing rear door of the home that is over 4 feet that necessitates the proposed deck to allow for like a seamless exit as is existing from the current door to the proposed deck. So we're just trying to pretty much keep the status quo of the height of the existing deck for a proposed rear garage roof deck as well.
Okay, you can have your witnesses swear to their affidavits.
Wayne, we submitted documents and an affidavit on your behalf regarding this case. If you were to testify today, would your testimony be consistent with the matters provided to the board?
Yes.
Thank you. And Robert, we submitted an affidavit on your behalf pertaining to this case. If you were to testify today, would your testimony be consistent with the materials and the affidavit provided to the board?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any questions from the board?
How deep is the lot? It is 100 feet in depth.
Okay, we'll take this matter under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Or 117 is the one that we're skipping over because.
That's right. Yeah. We skipped 117. Right, she came up.
Okay. You have the recommendation? Gotcha. Okay, would everyone planning to testify, including the objector, please raise your right hand? Are you testifying? Then please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings? Thank you. Counselor, you can proceed.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. For the record, my name is Jimena Castro. I am a zoning attorney at Acosta Esker, and I'm here today with you all with the manager of the applicant and his architect and my colleague for the property located at 5338 through 40 North Lincoln Avenue. Seeing as we have an objector, if you don't mind, after I tell the witnesses to state their name and record, I'd like to provide a few facts on the case.
Please do.
Flavius, can you please state your name and address for the record?
Flavius Ordilian, 3500 West Peterson, Chicago, Illinois, 60659.
Thank you.
61, 60,
Can you read?
sorry, Edward Livano, 6177 North Lincoln, Chicago, Illinois, 60659.
And then my colleague Rolando Acosta as well, to his right.
For moral support. Go ahead.
Okay. The subject property is located in a B33 zoning district that was rezoned with the blessing of the local community and aldermen in October the 16th of 2023. As I mentioned, it's a rezoning. It was rezoned from a B32 to a B33, which is the current zoning. It is located on the west side of Lincoln Avenue, in between Balmoral Avenue and Somerdale Avenue, in an area that includes a mix of uses, including commercial and residential uses, and includes mixed-use buildings with ground floor commercial uses and above ground floor residential uses. The subject property is currently improved with a vacant one-story commercial building, and the property has been vacant for several years. The applicant purchased the building in March of 2023 and underwent a community vetting process, as I mentioned, to rezone the property and allow the construction of a new 4-story mixed-use building with 2 ground floor commercial units, 9 dwelling units above the ground floor, 9 indoor parking spaces, and 4 bicycle spaces. The proposed building will be 53 feet in height, to the top of the parapet, and with an overall height of 63 feet to the elevator shaft. The community and aldermanic feedback throughout 2023 requested that the applicant include commercial units on the ground floor and family-sized units above the ground floor, and to not increase the proposed height of the building so that it may complement other 4-story buildings in the area along Lincoln Avenue and in the overall vicinity. The hardships in this case are the community feedback that asked consistently for the height of the proposed building to be what we are proposing, which resulted in the proposed also family layout units that the community was also seeking. Theoretically, we could have made the building taller, but given the extensive community feedback, we agree with the community to keep the building at the existing proposed height.
And that would
If
be
we were-
that'd be as a matter of right, correct?
Correct. And in order to keep the building height and provide the family size units, the applicant's manager had to decrease the setback from the existing to the proposed 11.75, which is why we're here. If we were to comply with the 30 feet, the building would be significantly taller, which would go against community wishes and which would be completely differing from the existing 4-story buildings in the area.
Okay. Are you going to question your witnesses?
I can ask them to affirm their testimony since the board has already seen the documents that you
Sure.
submitted. Flavius, if you, Flavius, we submitted documents on your behalf in an affidavit regarding this case. If you were to testify today, will your testimony be consistent?
Yes.
And just for the record, and just to reiterate for the court reporter, you underwent extensive community process and aldermanic process in 2023 when you purchased the property, correct?
Correct.
And the feedback of the community and the alderman at the time was to keep the building to the proposed height and to specifically provide family size units, correct?
Correct.
And if you were to comply with the 30-foot setback and make the building taller, you would be losing, or actually just even to keep the building at the existing proposed height and provide the 30 feet setback, you would be losing 3 of the rear units, correct?
Correct.
Thank you very much. Edward, we submitted an affidavit on your behalf. You've been part of this project for a long time with Flavius. If you were to testify today, would your testimony be consistent with the affidavit and the materials we provided?
Yes, absolutely.
And then just in your expert opinion, when you designed this project, if we were, and I asked this of Flavius, but just to reiterate from your expert design expertise, if you were to comply with the 30-foot setback, the 3 rear units would be completely eliminated, correct?
Yeah, yeah. Sure, we actually tried that and it didn't work. It didn't work.
Okay, thank you very much.
Is that your case?
Yes.
Okay. Let's turn to the objector. Ma'am, could you state your name and address, please?
My name is Clotilde Kim. My address is 2540 West Somerdale Avenue, Chicago, Illinois, 60625.
And could you just spell your name for the record, please?
Clotilde, last name Kim, Kim.
And tell us why you're here in objection.
Okay, my house is a 1-story building, and my east side was 4-story building. So, but west side was parking lot, empty. But now they're gonna build it 4-story building. My house will be small, and I've been sandwiched. Everybody will look down my house. There's no private. And I told them about my sunshine things from east side and south. But when they building at east side, my house will be blocked up from the sunshine, but they explain it's not gonna block, it'll be little bit to the north side, so maybe sunshine thinks it's okay. Only things, when they build a building, they're gonna, make a lot of dust and noise and that kind of things. It'll bother my house.
Anything else?
I have one personal question. The second person sitting there, are you have been any manager in some apartment around that area? Manager? Not him, you. Yes.
He's the architect, ma'am.
In some other building, some apartment, that area?
He's the architect.
Have you been?
He's the architect.
He's an architect.
He's the architect. Oh, not the managers.
No.
or because he looks like somebody else and he has very bad impression to me? That's why I'm asking. I mean, he's kind of a sexually harassment things. That's why, No.
Okay.
Okay,
Anything else?
that's it.
Okay. All right. Rebuttal and closing. Just address the issue, she's, the objection is, the light, on her property.
Yes, we had an opportunity to speak with Ms. Kim, and we explained, she had a misunderstanding as to where the property was located. She thought the property was located right on the corner. It is not. It is property next to that. The front of her house would be not blocked.
Right.
And we sort of explained a little bit of the trajectory of the sunlight. And my colleague Rolando Acosta actually gave her his business card in case she has any issues with dust or anything like that, as he is in the vicinity.
Any questions from the board? We'll take this matter under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next four cases, 121-24S, 122-24S, 123-24S, 124-24S, 230 North Lamont.
All right, would everyone planning to testify, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings? Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and read the recommendations. This is the recommendation for calendar number 121-24S. The Department of Planning and Development recommends approval of the proposed cannabis craft grower facility with 6 on-site parking spaces, provided 1, the special use is issued solely to the applicant, UHCC Inc. 2, the proposed shared cannabis infuser and processor uses as per applications 122-24S and 123-24S have been approved by the Zoning Board of Appeals. 3, no retail sales, samples, or physical product displays or stock are allowed at this facility. 4, the development is consistent with the design and layout of the plans and drawings dated March 14, 2024, prepared by Precision Development Group. The aerial with zoning and uses noted dated March 14, 2024, prepared by Rolando Acosta, and odor mitigation plan dated March 13, 2024, prepared by Amcon Consultants. 5, details on the quantitative basis for and final design of the odor control system and components, including but not limited to the size, type, and location of equipment, system layout, filters, airlocks, rooftop mechanical units, exterior system exhaust, etc., are submitted for review and approval by the Chicago Department of Public Health prior to issuance of any permits, And 6, a fully detailed written final odor mitigation plan detailing the proposed operations, maintenance schedule, and proposed remedies to address any system failures, as well as any additional details requested by CDPH, prepared by a qualified engineer, is submitted for review and approval by CDPH prior to issuance of any building permits. Now here's the recommendation for calendar number 12224S. The Department of Planning and Development recommends approval of the proposed cannabis infuser with 6 on-site parking spaces, provided 1, the special use is issued solely to the applicant, UHCC Inc. 2, the proposed shared cannabis craft grower and processor uses as per applications 12124S and 12324S have been approved by the Zoning Board of Appeals. 3, no retail sales, samples, or physical product displays or stock are allowed at this facility. 4, the development is consistent with the design and layout of the plans and drawings dated March 14, 2024, prepared by the Precision Development Group. The area with zoning and uses noted dated March 14, 2024, prepared by Rolando Acosta, and odor mitigation plan dated March 13, 2024, prepared by Amcon Consultants. 5, details on the quantitative basis for and final design of the odor control system and components, including but not limited to the size, type, and location of equipment, system layout, filters, airlocks, rooftop mechanical units, exterior system exhaust, etc., are submitted for review and approval by Chicago Department of Public Health prior to issuance of any permits. And 6, a fully detailed written final odor mitigation plan detailing the proposed operations, maintenance schedule, and proposed remedies to address any system failures, as well as any additional details requested by CDPH, prepared by a qualified engineer, is submitted for review and approval by CDPH prior to issuance of any building permits. All right, and one more for Groundhog's Day's sake. This is the recommendation for calendar number 12324S. The Department of Planning and Development recommends approval of the proposed cannabis processor with 6 on-site parking spaces, provided 1, the special use is issued solely to the applicant, UHCC Inc. 2, the proposed shared cannabis craft grower and infuser uses as per applications 12124S and 12224S have been approved by the Zoning Board of Appeals. 3, no retail sales, samples, or physical product displays or stock are allowed at this facility. 4, the development is consistent with the design and layout of the plans and drawings dated March 14, 2024, prepared by Precision Development Group. The aerial with zoning and uses noted dated March 14, 2024, prepared by Rolando Acosta, and odor mitigation plan dated March 13, 2024, prepared by Amcon Consultants. 5, details on the quantitative basis for and final design of the odor control system and components, including but not limited to the size, type, and location of equipment, system layout, filters, airlocks, rooftop mechanical units, exterior system exhaust, etc., are submitted for review and approval by the Chicago Department of Public Health prior to issuance of any permits. And 6, a fully detailed written final odor mitigation plan detailing the proposed operations, maintenance schedule, and proposed remedies to address any system failures, as well as any additional details requested by CDPH, prepared by a qualified engineer, is submitted for review and approval by CDPH prior to issuance of any building permits. Councilor Acosta, you can proceed with the short form.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and congratulations. That was a marathon. I have here Rolando Acosta here on behalf of the applicant. I have with me Mr. David Alport. He is the president of the applicant. Mr. David Fettner, who's a managing partner of Grow America Builder, a design build firm that's overseeing the construction, and Peter Poulos, who's an MAI appraiser. I'd ask that the board recognize Peter as an expert witness.
The board recognizes Mr. Poulos' expertise.
Thank you. The proposal involves a parcel of property that's nestled in an industrial area. It is bordered on the north by an elevated railroad right-of-way and industrial uses to the east, south, and west. It is approximately 900 feet to the Metra, Grand, and Cicero station, as well as the Cicero bus lines. It's a TSL location. It's improved with a 64,000 square foot building. The applicant proposes to use the eastern approximately 36,000 square feet of the building. The west side is separated by a wall from the proposed use. For the three, we have three uses here, a craft grower, a processor, and an infuser. We're also requesting a variation. The variation affects the northern strip of property, which is not intended to be used for parking and not really for vehicular access. But the department's thought, since it could be, they included it in the calculation for landscaping. It's an extensive area. It's much bigger than the parking lot. And so we've asked for a variation to reduce the landscaping requirements to that which is required for the parking lot. But we have augmented the landscaping on the parking lot. That northern area that I described is not visible to anyone. It does have mechanical equipment. It needs to be serviced. It also provides access from the east to our western neighbor. So blocking it with landscaping would be a hardship in multiple regards. We have held two community meetings on this proposal. One sponsored by the alderman at her office back in May in connection with the rezoning of the property. This property was rezoned to the M22 to authorize the special uses that are before you today. Then we had the required community meeting in connection with the special uses. No objections were stated at either meeting, and there's a letter of support in the file from the alderwoman expressing her views on this matter, favorable views on this matter. The applicant has extensive experience operating this facility. It's proposed to be operated from 9 to 5 p.m. during weekdays, occasional weekend hours. It will create approximately 40 employment opportunities hopefully for neighborhood folks. And it will provide, as previously mentioned, 6 parking spaces. With that, I would ask David. David, I previously prepared an affidavit for you summarizing your testimony. You reviewed it and signed it. And if you were to testify today, would your testimony be consistent with that affidavit?
Yes, it would.
Thank you. David, I prepared an affidavit for you summarizing your testimony. You reviewed it and signed the affidavit. And if you were to testify today, would your testimony be consistent with that affidavit?
Yes, it would.
Mr. Poulos, you prepared a report in connection with this proposal, finding that after having reviewed the site, the area, and the standards applicable to special use. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And your report concludes that we meet all the standards for approval of the special uses in question?
Yes, it does.
And if you were to testify today, would your testimony be consistent with that report?
Yes, it would.
Thank you. Lastly, I should just say that we have a 60-page engineering MEP documents that we have submitted that have been preliminarily reviewed by Department of Health. And we have a 130-page odor mitigation plan that also has been reviewed by the Department of Health. And they've concurred with the findings and the proposals there. They just want further review at the time of building permit, hence the 2 conditions. So we believe we'll be fully compliant with those conditions.
Sure.
With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the board? We'll take this matter under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, would everyone planning to testify, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings? Thank you very much. Counselor, you can proceed with the short form.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, my name is Jimena Castro. I am a zoning attorney at Acosta Edgar. I'm here with you all today with the applicant and owner of the subject property and the project architect for the property as well. Mr. Soheb, can you please state your name and address for the record?
Soheb Patel, 5620 North Christiana Avenue, Chicago, Illinois, 60659.
Wonderful. And Kaya, can you please state your full name and business address for the record and what your role has been
Yes, Ketmer Remick, Building Projects, Principal and Project Architect, 4468 North Elston Avenue, Chicago, Illinois, 60630.
Thank you very much. So the short form?
Yes.
Okay. The subject property, as you all know, is located at 5620 North Christiana. The property is improved with a two-story residential building with 3 dwelling units that is a family-owned building where Mr. Soheb Patel and his family live in the entire building. The property also has a detached 2-car garage with roof deck. In addition, the rear improvements include a 2-story rear deck, of which the second floor is enclosed and includes a bridge connection that provides access to the garage roof deck. Mr. Patel purchased the property in 2012, and at the time of purchase, the property included the existing detached 2-car garage, garage roof deck, the 2-story deck, and the bridge connection. And we have a survey from 2006 showing the existing conditions. In 2021, in order to create more living space for his family, Mr. Patel enclosed, there's like a before and after shot. There enclosed, yeah, there's a before shot. There we go. He enclosed that portion of the rear open deck. And he had a violation from the city of Chicago as it was done without permits. In 2023, from 2021 to 2023, Mr. Patel had been working with various different architects in order to legalize the existing conditions, as enclosing that portion of the deck triggered setback compliance from the previous owners who had built the deck and other improvements also without permits. In January 2023, Mr. Patel retained Ms. Ramick's firm, and in October of 2023, my firm was retained in order to handle the zoning portion of this. The existing setbacks are that this is an existing condition. The applicant did enclose a portion of the deck. However, all of the other existing improvements have existed there since before 2006. And the existing improvements were already encroaching onto the required setbacks. We are seeking to maintain the existing setbacks as they are and are seeking a setback reduction to legalize existing conditions. We have spoken with both adjacent neighbors who are in support. They do not object as this structure has existed like this for quite some time. And we also took some photos of existing similar conditions in the area as well to show that this is not an isolated improvement in rear yards in the area.
So the structure itself existed before you bought the property, correct, sir? Okay. But then you went ahead and enclosed it, and you did that without permits?
Yes,
Okay. Don't build without permits.
I was unaware of it. Since I thought it was my property, I can use it.
Okay. Yeah, you can't, if you're gonna build a structure like that, you have to have permits. So you can't just go ahead and start building on your property, because you gotta build things to code, okay?
No,
All right. Have your witnesses swear to their affidavits.
Mr. Patel, we submitted documents and an affidavit on your behalf. If you were to testify today, would your testimony be consistent with the materials we provided and with the affidavit we provided?
yes,
Thank you. Ms. Ramick, if you were to, we submitted an affidavit and materials and your drawings that you and your partner, Mr. Hemal Purohit, also worked on with you. If you were to testify today, would your testimony be consistent with the affidavit, with the drawings and the other materials of this case?
Yes.
Are there any questions from the board? We'll take this matter under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
24 West Armitage.
All right, would everyone planning to testify, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings? Thank you very much. The board recognizes Mr. Ryan's expertise. Here's the recommendation for calendar number 12524S. The Department of Planning and Development recommends approval of the proposed body art service tattoo shop. Counselor Pekarsky, you can proceed with the short form.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. For the record, my name is John Pekarsky, and this afternoon I represent Ruben Avila, who is seated to my right, who is a licensed tattoo artist. Mr. Avila has been in the business for 17 years. He lives in the vicinity of 2624 West Armitage and can testify that the property has been vacant for, the building at the first level has been vacant for several years. He would like to lease the property for a tattoo parlor. His intention is to have 5 employees, all trained and licensed as he is trained and licensed. He will have hours of operation from Monday through Saturday from 11 to 7. He has spoken with the neighbors above him and has spoken with Alderman Laspada, receiving their verbal approval. There will be 3 stations currently and 1 in the future. As far as sanitation, everything that is done will be in total conformance with all the rules and regulations of both the state and the city. With that, I would call Mr. Avila. Please state your name
Ruben Avila,
and your address, sir.
1938 West Kesey, Chicago, Illinois.
And you were here when I made the presentation, is that correct?
That is correct.
And on your behalf, I have prepared an affidavit, is that correct?
That is correct.
And if I ask you the questions that appear in the affidavit, would your answers be the same or substantially similar?
That is correct.
I have no further questions of Ruben. Next, Mr. Joseph Ryan, I would ask the board to stipulate to his credentials.
We've already recognized Mr. Ryan's expertise.
Please state your name, address, and occupation.
Joseph M. Ryan, MAI, President, LaSalle Appraisal Group with offices at 9455 South Horn Avenue in Chicago.
And at my request, have you examined the subject site and its surrounding areas?
I have.
And have you prepared a written report as to the qualifications as to compliance with the various requirements of the zoning ordinance for the proposed use?
I did.
And are you familiar with the fact that I have prepared an affidavit on your behalf?
Yes.
And that if I ask you the same questions that appear in the affidavit, would your answers be the same or substantially similar?
Did the same.
I have no further questions of Mr. Ryan.
Are there any questions from the board? Mr. Blakemore, are you here in objection of this matter?
Yes,
All right, could you state your name and address for the record, please?
my name is George Blakemore, and that address is the same that was previous on Dearborn. Anyway,
Was that 804 Broadway?
yes, thank you.
Okay, let's put 3 minutes on the clock. You may proceed.
All right, I'm proceeding with these 3 minutes. I have received your rules and regulations. You are the chief officer here, and they're giving you discretion to run this meeting in any way that you have decided. If you want 1 minute, you have the power 1 minute, if you want 3 minutes. So, my objection is that you having this power as the officer, as here, you having the power to hear who you want and at any time, with a time limit or not. So I'm questioning the whole process. And what's so egregious is time after time, we see our citizens coming up here abusing the system by getting these lawyers and the affidavits and pay to play. I'm trying to educate some people exactly how this works. And I never had a time limit, but they told me as the office, you can let them speak as one, or as long as you want, you have this power. I'm questioning the power that you have. It should be not at your discretion, but you also are a public servant. And you can serve who you want, when you want, and how you want. And this is why it's very important for a citizen like myself that has no interest financial as a lawyer. Do not work for the Zoning Board of Appeal. So I object to this whole process here because I see that the citizens can come and break these zoning laws and get a zoning appeal attorney that specializes in this and can get it overruled. So this is why we abuse the system, all of us, for our own personal interest and sometimes for our financial interest. So I thank you for letting me exceed my 3 minutes or what you looking up here. That goes for you, but it doesn't say 3 minutes here. It says at your discretion. So if you wanted for me to speak 2 more minutes, you can allow this. I asked for the rules and they gave me the rules, but look, it's fundamental reading. It's fundamental. So it doesn't say it.
Are there any questions from the board? We'll take this matter under advisement.
Here.
First time he's dealt with.
Yeah, first time.
I said, how long's he been doing this? 20 years?
At least 20.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and read the department's recommendation for calendar number 12624S. The Department of Planning and Development recommends approval of the proposed hair salon. Would the applicant and the expert please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings?
Yes.
Thank you very much. The board recognizes Mr. Ryan's expertise. Counselor Pekarsky, you can proceed with the short form.
Again, my name is John Pekarsky, and I represent Tasha Jones, who's seated to my left and is the applicant in this matter. The property in question is located at 6148 Southwestern. It is part of a larger complex of stores. The property has been vacant for approximately 3 years. And my client wishes to introduce a hair parlor, beauty parlor at this location. Ms. Jones has been in the business for 20 years. She intends to employ at the start 6 employees She has a whole book of business that she will bring to the location. They will have 9 stations. They will be in operation Tuesday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. All of the employees will be state certified. And we, with the board's approval, would like to begin operation in May.
Want to just have your witnesses swear to their affidavits?
Now, Tasha, please state your name, address.
My name is Tasha Jones. My address is 1130 East 46th Street.
And at your request, I have prepared an affidavit. Is that correct?
Yes,
And if I ask you the questions that appear in the affidavit, would your answers be the same or substantially similar?
yes, that'll be the same.
Okay, sir. Mr. Ryan, please state your name, address, and occupation.
Joseph M. Ryan, President, LaSalle Appraisal Group with offices at 9455 South Point Avenue in Chicago.
And again, you're familiar with the facts of this case and you've made an examination of the subject site, is that correct?
Yes,
And you've prepared a written report and I have prepared an affidavit on your behalf, is that correct?
yes,
If I ask you the questions that appeared in the affidavit, would your answers be the same or substantially similar?
the same.
I have no further presentation.
Any questions from the board? We'll take this matter under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oh, are you here in objection on this matter? Okay, could you state your name and address, please?
My name is Jessica Jackson. My address is 7147 Southeast End.
I'm sorry, south what?
Southeast End.
Where's that in relation to this property?
It's on the south side.
All right, and what's your objection?
I'm here to talk about the fact that I object to the fact that right now, Black people in this city is not given the opportunity as it pertains to real estate, as it pertains to business owners. And I'm hoping that she will get whatever it is that she's getting. Now, the only reason why I'm speaking is because I noticed when Mr. Blakemore was speaking, you and the gentleman that's next to you, I don't know, you found it humorous that he was talking about the rules and the fact that the rules were, or rights were
So do you
being
have an objection
violated.
to this application or
I'm
not?
talking as a citizen.
Hold on,
Because my property taxes, because I'm a property
All right, let's
owner.
stop.
I'm
Let's
not
just
on
put-
subsidized house.
Put 2 minutes on the, oh, you've got the time going. Go
At-
ahead.
Yeah, right, because I'm a citizen. And I'm a property taxpayer. I'm a citizen. So I have the right to speak in any public forum. Because I'm a citizen. I'm not an illegal immigrant. I'm a taxpayer citizen. And been owning property in this city for 61 years, my family has been. So I'm sorry that it offends you. Now, what I said was that I supported the fact that she's trying to do a business because there is a lack of Black business opportunity on the South Side. And that's what I came to speak about. And you can wave your pen and be rude, but it doesn't change the fact that the citizens of this town can talk anytime we want to in a public forum.
Excuse me, sir, you do not have permission to speak. Are there any questions from the board? We'll take this matter under advisement. Thank you.
Next case, 453-23S, 3229-45 West North Avenue.
Everything else. That 395 and 396 were continued.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Don't worry, the next one will be.
What?
That's going short indeed.
Yeah.
And Chair, just for the record, I'm recused from this one as well.
Okay. All right, would everyone planning to testify, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings? Thank you very much. I'll go ahead and read the department's recommendation for calendar number 45323S. The Department of Planning and Development recommends approval of the proposed dual-lane drive-through to serve an existing one-story fast food restaurant, McDonald's, provided the special use is issued solely to the applicant, McDonald's Corporation, and the development is consistent with the design and layout of the site plan, drive-through exit exhibit, landscape plan, and truck circulation plan dated March 14, 2024, prepared by Watermark Engineering Resources. The elevations and floor plan dated July 29, it's got to be 23, drawn by RAM, except as amended by sheet A60, partial east elevation, new second pickup window, and partial plan dated March 12, 2024,
Brian?
prepared by Lingle
Brian?
Design Group. Yes.
Good afternoon, Chairman. Just confirming that the date on that plan is 2003.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it is the watermark, the elevations and floor plan dated July 29, 2003. Okay. Okay. So I stand corrected. It is correct in the order as written. Counselor, you can proceed with the short form.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. If I may, one, I appreciate this board with respect to attorneys and other municipalities. They actually make attorneys, they swear them in and consider them to be witnesses. So I do appreciate your guys' recognition of the law on that point. The last point I want to make is I've been doing this for almost 30 years. And I want to just basically appreciate the staff. I want to appreciate the board. We don't necessarily always agree, but I will just say that this is not an easy job. It is a difficult job. And we appreciate the time that you put in, the consideration that you give to matters and the decisions that you make, again, whether we agree with them all the time or don't agree with them. So I just want to state that for the record. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Lenny Asaro, I am a partner at the law firm of Faegre, Drinker, Biddle and Reith, located at 320 South Canal, Suite 3300, Chicago, Illinois, 60606. I have the privilege of representing the applicant today, McDonald's Corporation. The owner of the subject property is VNL Investments LLC. The owner has provided a written consent to this application, and the written consent is part of the application. On behalf of the applicant, the following individuals are present. Mr. Joseph Minorik, he's an employee of an area construction manager of McDonald's. He's two individuals to my right. Dan Olson, Vice President of Watermark Engineering, is to my right. Teresa Diaz, who is a representative of the owner-operator of the restaurant, and she is to Mr. Minorik's right. And then last but certainly not least is Jason Jarrett, AICP of Oakland Kissel Associates Incorporated. The subject property is located at 3229-3245 West North Avenue, and the 26th Ward was represented by Alderman Jesse Fuentes. Since approximately 2005, the property has been improved, actually before 2005, had been improved with a single-story McDonald's restaurant and a single-lane drive-through. The property is located on the south side of North Avenue, approximately mid-block between North Spalding and North Kedzie in Humboldt Park. The property is zone B3-2. The land area is approximately 30,000 square feet, and the building area is approximately 3,500 square feet. There are two curb cuts, both of which are located along North Avenue frontage. There are 36 striped parking spaces on site, 2 of which are ADA accessible. There's a single drive-through lane with a cash booth window and pickup window. The restaurant and lobby hours are Monday through Sunday, 5 a.m. to 11 p.m., and the drive-through hours are Monday through Sunday, 24 hours per day. The proposed development is to reconfigure the existing single-lane drive-through into a dual-lane drive-through and to add a second pickup window. Pedestrian crosswalks and markings will be added to further enhance pedestrian safety. The drive-through exit and easternmost curb cut will be tapered and landscaped to further enhance pedestrian safety. The proposed changes to the drive-through will result in a loss of 13 parking spaces, resulting in a total of 23 spaces, one of which will be ADA accessible. The resulting parking continues to be in conformance with the parking requirements. Applicant respectfully requests the admission into the record of this hearing, our application with the exhibits, and we would respectfully request approval of the application for special use. And I would then proceed with the short form with Mr. Minorick and Mr. Jarrett. And if the board has questions, Mr. Olson and Ms. Diaz are available. Mr. Minorick, can you please state and spell your name for the record?
McDonald's Corporation, Area Construction Manager.
And can you just state your name and spell it for the record?
Joseph Minorick, Joseph Minorick.
And did you sign an affidavit in support of this application?
Yes,
And subsequent to the affidavit, were there some revisions to the plans that were based on communications with the city of Chicago?
yes,
With the exception of the one paragraph in your affidavit that pertains to some of those changes, would your testimony here today be consistent with the testimony in your affidavit?
yes.
Thank you. Next, if I may, Mr. Jason Jarrett, could you please state and spell your name for the record?
Yes, my name is Jason Jarrett, Jarrett, with offices at 141 West Jackson in Chicago.
This may come as a huge risk, but I would respectfully ask that Mr. Jarrett's qualifications be accepted by this board.
The board recognizes Mr. Jarrett's expertise.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you.
Mr. Jarrett, did you prepare a written report in support of this application for special use?
I did.
And did you prepare that report prior to receiving some revised changes in the plans?
Yes.
And based on your review of the revised plans, is your opinion that's contained in your report still consistent with your report?
Yeah, I have reviewed those plans and my conclusions are the same.
Thank you. No further questions.
Any questions from the board? We'll take this matter under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm recused from this one as well. I think we have to wait.
Yeah, we're just gonna give it a couple minutes here. And yeah.
Both of the
Both of
last one and this one. Yep.
Marcus?
Oh, no, not
Martinez?
Marcellus.
Marcus. Martinez.
Marcus.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I was thinking. Lang.
Oh. I'll take that as a compliment. I haven't seen him in a while. Yeah, yeah. I haven't seen him.
Coming. Oh, great.
They're still going, you know?
I know they moved.
Yeah. Carry on.
Right, I'll go ahead and read the department's recommendation for calendar number 45423S. The Department of Planning and Development recommends approval of the proposed dual-lane drive-through to serve an existing one-story fast food restaurant, McDonald's, provided 1, the special use is issued solely to the applicant, McDonald's Corporation. 2, the development is consistent with the design and layout of the plans and drawings dated March 14, 2024, prepared by Watermark Engineering Resources. And 3, the crosswalks across the drive-through lanes are raised crosswalks. Would everyone planning to testify, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth in these proceedings? Thank you very much. The board recognizes Mr. Jarrett's expertise. And Counselor, you can proceed with the short form.
Thank you very much, Chairman. My name is Lenny Asaro. I'm a partner at the law firm of Faegre Drinker Biddle and Reith LLP, located at 320 South Canal, Suite 3300, Chicago, Illinois. We represent the applicant, McDonald's Corporation. In addition to being the applicant, McDonald's is the owner of the subject property. On behalf of the applicant, the individuals present are Joseph Minorik, an employee of and area construction manager for McDonald's, Dan Olson, Vice President of Watermark Engineering, Teresa Diaz, representative of the owner-operator of the restaurant, and lastly, Jason Jarrett of Okrent Kissel Associates. The subject property is located at 2307-17 North Cicero Avenue in the 31st Ward, represented by Alderman Felix Cardona Jr. Since approximately 2005, I believe, the subject property has been improved with a single-story McDonald's restaurant and single-lane drive-through. The subject property is located at the northeast corner of Belden and Cicero in the Belmont-Cragen neighborhood. The property is Zone C2-1. The land area is approximately 26,000 square feet, and building area is approximately 5,000 square feet. There are two curb cuts, both of which are located along the North Cicero frontage. There are 27 striped parking spaces on site, 2 of which are ADA accessible. There's a single drive-through lane with a cash booth window and pickup window. The restaurant and lobby hours are Monday through Sunday, 5 a.m. to 11 p.m., and the drive-through hours are Monday through Sunday, 24 hours a day. The proposed development is that the applicant proposes to reconfigure the existing single-lane drive-through into a dual-lane drive-through. Pedestrian crosswalks and markings will be added to further enhance pedestrian safety. The drive-through exit and northernmost curb cut will be tapered to further enhance pedestrian safety. The proposed changes to the drive-through will result in a loss of 10 parking spaces, resulting in a total of 17 spaces, one of which will be ADA accessible. The resulting parking continues to conform to the parking requirements. The city has proposed a raised pedestrian crosswalk at the drive-through exit point as a condition of approval. Due to issues that I will ask Mr. Olson about, there are concerns about that particular aspect of the condition. But with that, I would request admission into the record at this hearing of our application and the exhibits attached thereto, and respectfully request approval of the application for special use based on the plans that we've submitted. With that, I would do the short form with Mr. Minorik, Mr. Jarrett, and then I would just ask just a few questions to have Mr. Olson explain the basis for the challenge based on the city's request. Mr. Minorik, can you state and spell your name for the record, please?
Joseph Minorik, Joseph Minorik.
And at the time of the submission of this application, did you review and sign an affidavit in support of the application?
Yes, I did.
And then since the filing of the application, were there some changes to the plans for this project?
Yes.
Subject to the paragraph in your affidavit regarding one of those changes, which has to do with the parking count, would you testify today here consistent with the other matters that you testified to in your affidavit?
Yes, I would.
Thank you. Mr. Jarrett, can you state and spell your name for the record?
Jason Jarrett, Jarrett, with offices at 141 West Jackson.
And Mr. Jarrett, upon the filing of the application, did you prepare a written land planning report with respect to the standards for special use for this application?
I did.
And at that time, did you review the existing site plans that were submitted?
I did.
And subsequent to the filing of this application and more recently, did you have an occasion to review the revised plans?
I did review those plans.
And the opinions that you expressed in your report, would they still be the same in consideration of the revised plans?
Yes, they would.
Okay. I have no further questions of Mr. Jarrett. I just have a few questions for Mr. Olson. Can you state and spell your name for the record?
Dan Olson, Olson.
And Mr. Olson, where are you employed? And just summarize quickly your background and qualifications.
Sure. I'm Vice President with Watermark Engineering Resources. We're a civil engineering firm out of Aurora, Illinois. And I've been with the company for 17 years, all of that time designing McDonald's projects.
If we could respectfully ask that the plan that shows the site plan with yes, that one. directing your attention, Mr. Olson, to the site plan. Can you just describe, well, if you could direct your attention to the drive-through that winds around the building and then starts to snake north, and then it turns left onto Cicero.
Yes.
Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay. So just before the vehicle exits the drive-through, I believe that there is a striped pedestrian crosswalk. Is that correct?
Correct.
And then that pedestrian crosswalk actually connects up to a diagonal crosswalk that looks like it goes from the southeast to the north. I'm sorry, southwest to northeast, correct?
That's correct.
Into the parking lot, correct?
Yes.
So going back to that crosswalk that is in front of the exit there, can you just describe what you have proposed with respect to that crosswalk and the pedestrian safety associated with it? And then I'll ask you a question about the city's proposal.
Sure. Yeah. What we're proposing at that location is to remove and replace the concrete that's there with a level ADA accessible path with concrete and yellow diagonal striping for the crosswalk.
Okay. And just to be clear, so vehicles that go through the drive-through are entering from the southernmost driveway on Cicero, correct?
Correct.
And they go through the proposed dual lane drive-through, and as they start to basically navigate towards the east, they then sort of wrap around the building and come up north, and then they wrap around the building to go west, and then they have to navigate through the exit of the drive-through and then out, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And you are aware that the city has proposed that crosswalk at that particular location be a raised median, correct?
Yes.
And can you just describe to the board what a raised median would look like and what your concerns are with regards to that?
Sure. As opposed to a typical flat crosswalk, the raised crosswalk would rise to meet the sidewalks adjacent to it within the parking lot rather than having the sidewalks slope down and to meet the parking lot at grade. So they're asking us to bump that up, it's usually somewhere 4 to 6 inches or so to bring it flush with the concrete.
And do you have any concerns about that type of improvement?
Yeah, in this instance, because this is an existing parking lot with existing drainage patterns and catch basins already laid out within the site, by raising the pavement in that area, we would effectively create a dam. And so the water would not be able to leave the drive-through lane and make it to a catch basin. So it would become an operational and safety concern.
Thank you. No further questions.
Okay. Can we hear from the Department of Planning and Development on the raised crosswalks and the response to what the applicant is saying? Nancy?
Yes. So it is.
Maybe start by stating your name and role for the record.
Of course. Nancy Razovich, Assistant Commissioner, Department of Planning and Development, Zoning Bureau. It's not uncommon when we have drive-throughs, whether they're existing, modified, or brand-new drive-throughs, for us to request raised crosswalks. This ties back to 2 sections of the code: pedestrian safety and comfort, which is one of the special use criteria, and also there's a pedestrian walkway provision in the drive-through facilities section of the code, 1790-106. And the idea behind it is for the drive-through lanes, we want to make sure that there is enhanced safety for pedestrians that are crossing through, particularly from driveway or parking areas, and especially when there's ADA compliant access points. This is a standard, pretty much a standard that we work on with most special use criteria, with most drive-through special uses, particularly when we have, again, ADA compliant parking spaces and or access from heavy pedestrian areas across a drive-through lane for enhanced safety. And I guess while I understand that there may be some issues with the water, I will tell you that this is something that we came through pretty late in the day. So we added it as a condition with the hopes that we could look at this at building permit time, because we really think it should be explored a little bit more. We think the pedestrian safety and enhancement really is important. And if they could look at that to see if they can adjust any sort of water flow or add some simple means to address any sort of water backup, to provide that added enhancement for pedestrian safety at time of building permit, that would be the recommendation.
Any response to that, Counselor?
Oh,
I have a question. Is the applicant asking us to approve the special use without the third condition on the department's recommendation?
if the, if
So
I.
the third condition is the crosswalks across the drive-through lanes are raised crosswalks.
Well, the only part of that that we are not in agreement with is the raised part of it. It will still be a crosswalk. It'll still be striped. It'll still have the characteristics that will enhance pedestrian safety. So that's the only part of it, just to be clear.
Okay,
It's just a raised portion of it.
right. Are there any questions from the board? Okay, we will take this matter under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Okay. I move that we convene into closed session pursuant to Section 2C4 of the Open Meetings Act for the purpose of considering the evidence and testimony presented in open session. Commissioner Toya seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner McDonald. Commissioner Toya.
Yes.
I vote yes, we're in closed session.
think you enjoyed setting that clock today.
I move that we return to open session. Commissioner Toya seconds, Commissioner Brooks. Commissioner McDonald. Commissioner Toya.
Yes.
I vote yes, and we're back. We will now vote. Note that any motion to approve a special use will be tied to the recommendations of the department and any additional conditions read by me. I move to approve all continuance requests to the dates stated by me. Commissioner Toya seconds, Commissioner Brooks. Commissioner McDonald. Commissioner Toya.
Yes.
I vote yes, the continuances are approved. I move to approve application for calendar number 11124Z. Commissioner Toya seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner McDonald. Commissioner Toya.
Yes.
I vote yes, the matter is approved. I move to approve application for calendar number 11224Z. Commissioner Toya seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner McDonald. Commissioner Toya.
Yes.
I vote yes, the matter is approved. I move to approve application for calendar number 11324S. Commissioner Toya seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner McDonald. Commissioner Toya.
Yes.
I vote yes, the matter is approved. I move to approve application for calendar number 11424Z. Commissioner Toya seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner McDonald. Commissioner Toya.
Yes.
I vote yes, the matter is approved. I move to approve application for calendar number 11524S. Commissioner Toya seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner McDonald. Commissioner Toya.
Yes.
I vote yes, the matter is approved. I move to approve application for calendar number 11624S. Commissioner Toya seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner McDonald. Commissioner Toya.
Yes.
I vote yes, the matter is approved. I move to approve application for calendar number 11724Z. Commissioner Toya seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner McDonald. Commissioner Esposito, Commissioner Toya.
Yes.
I vote yes, the matter is approved. I move to approve application for calendar numbers 11824Z and 11924Z. Commissioner Toya seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner McDonald. Commissioner Toya.
Yes.
I vote yes, the matters are approved. I move to approve application for calendar number 12024Z. Commissioner Toya seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner McDonald. Commissioner Toya.
Yes.
I vote yes, the matter is approved. I move to approve application for calendar numbers 12124S, 12224S, 12324S, and 12424Z. Commissioner Toya seconds, Commissioner Brooks. Commissioner McDonald. Commissioner Toya.
Yes.
I vote yes, the matters are approved. I move to approve application for calendar number 12524S. Commissioner Toya seconds, Commissioner Brooks. Commissioner McDonald. Commissioner Toya.
Yes.
I vote yes, the matter is approved. I move to approve application, bless you. I move to approve application for calendar number 12624S. Commissioner Toya seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner McDonald. Commissioner Toya.
Yes.
I vote yes, the matter is approved. I move to approve application for calendar numbers 12724S, 12824Z, and 12924Z. Commissioner Toya seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner McDonald. Commissioner Toya.
Yes.
I vote yes, the matters are approved. I move to approve application for calendar number 45323S. Commissioner Toya seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner McDonald. Commissioner Toya.
Yes.
I vote yes, the matter is approved. I move to approve application for calendar number 45423S. Commissioner Toya seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner McDonald. Commissioner Toya.
Yes.
I vote yes, the matter is approved. I move to approve the written resolutions containing findings of fact consistent with the votes of the board at its February 16, 2024 regular meeting. Commissioner Toya seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner McDonald. Commissioner Toya.
Yes.
I vote yes, the resolutions are approved. I move that we adjourn the meeting. Commissioner Toya seconds, Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner McDonald.
Yes.
Commissioner Toya.
Yes.
I vote yes, we're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.